What's going on, everybody? This is Pat Cherubini with the Media Mafia, and we are here on the next episode, number 4. We got the whole Cherubini family here, the whole Mafia, and we are here with James Golden III, a.k.a. JG3.
Ooh, what's up, guys? What's going on?
Nothing much. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate the opportunity, man. This setup is off the chain, guys. I'm going to tell you that right now. So what, episode 4?
4.
We think it's 4.
4, 3, 4, whatever.
Officially,
You know, we've
4.
had so many we can't keep track.
We had a few that we were messing around with, but
Yeah.
we wanted to get you in nice and early.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I tell you what, just keep this thing going, man, because I don't know if they can see the sign. I don't know how to. It's the first time I've been on camera, so I'm going to roll with that a little bit. But the setup is just nice. Very nice. Great job, and all of you.
Thanks.
Thanks to Blake. Blake, our designer.
Well done, Blake.
He's our tech guy. He's setting it all up, and we're just here using it, having fun.
Need to use it more.
We do.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since we've done one, so
Yeah, at least.
dropping the ball.
Yes, James.
Godfather's been
Ball.
sick,
You
so
guys got to get that scheduled.
That's true. The Godfather's been sick.
The topic I have for
Fair
today
enough.
kind of rolls along with that a little
With
bit.
what? Oh,
Yeah. So the topic I wanted to ask, which I feel like this will roll into a lot of other topics, because this relates well with you. Before you tell your story of what you do, you can do it
Yeah.
along the way. Because last time we met at Moe's,
Yeah, we're at
Yeah.
Moe's.
you told us that last year you were just ready to quit it and get rid of everything. And I wanted to talk about how to stay motivated when you're not, because we can relate to it. I'm sure a lot of other entrepreneurs can. And last year you were having
Yeah.
some motivation issues with your business and you were ready to throw in the towel. So,
Absolutely, man. I'll speak to that a little bit.
so just go ahead and introduce what you do, what your business is, and then what happened.
Wow. Okay. So I'll start out when I was about your guys' age. I was about 19 years old, and I got this opportunity to work in this business called pavement management. This guy brought me in. I was basically the grunt, man. I was out there on the pavement every day. I was out there walking around, measuring cracks in roads and stuff like that. And you want to fast forward, gosh, all the way up to 2011. Basically, I had that job, and I worked my way up slowly but surely to the operations director there, director of operations. Had a great team underneath me. I learned a lot. I always had this idea of starting my own company, right? I can tell a lot of stories. Trust me. I'm very entrepreneurial. I've got a book coming out called Good to Golden: The Paper Route to Entrepreneurship. You'll hear more about my story there.
Nice.
It's a good time.
didn't
yeah,
know
it's-
that, but that's
It's
great.
coming, man. And maybe I can,
James.
give some tips on how you can actually start a book. We all got a book in us somewhere, whether you're 19 or 75, it doesn't matter.
Hey, I'm not
But
75.
no,
Don't
you're
look
not.
at me when you say that.
You're 75 hard though.
You
I'll
are the
tell
Godfather.
You're going to get there. But the long and short of it is, I had this job, in pavement management for all these years, and I always had this concept of kind of starting my own, but I was scared. I was scared to start my own. I think a lot of us are in those situations. When you're in it, having kids, you're married, you've got mortgages, you got car payments, you got maybe some credit card debt, stuff like that. And the reality was I was kind of forced into starting my own company. So this is a kind of a story of where I always wanted to do something, but I was comfortable. And the key word is being comfortable.
Yeah.
So when you're on this journey, it's about being in a constant state of being uncomfortable. It's hard for us to do, isn't it? I work from home. I work from airplanes. I work from coffee shops. I work all over the place now. And that was one of the easiest things for me to do, was to just get out of the current environment, to get uncomfortable, to kind of stay motivated. That's the big word, right? With all that said, I started my business in March of 2011, and I basically created an awesome job for myself. That's what I did. I got a business. I'm out here knocking on doors, kicking ass and taking names. It was hot and heavy. I was also going through a divorce at the time. I lost my house. I was living in my parents' basement. So the business was actually a great escape for me. It was great to be out and, working with clients and things like that. I had to go on the road, come back home, be with the kids and just go all in for that perspective. So, but yeah, I was kind of forced into this thing. Created a 6-figure job for myself, and that went very well for about 3-4 years. And then I only had about a dozen clients at the time, and one of which was a big city of Cincinnati. So what we really do for a living, in this day and age, is we provide a data-driven approach to the annual maintenance and repair of city roadway networks. So I'm sure all of you out there, you have a financial planner, something along those lines, and you think about what they do for you for a living, right? You sit down with a financial planner day one, and they're like, what do you want to do? What are your hopes and dreams, right? and what's your current income and what's your projected income, year in, year out, and how do you set that roadmap up for success? Same with city roadways, so we're in Hanover, right? So we'll go a little bit bigger. Let's go to the city of Newark. That's something we can all relate to. We're on the city roadways quite a bit. And the reality is not a very exciting drive around Newark on the roadways, right? They're in pretty poor condition. And the city understands that. They know that. The challenge is they're in a worst to first format. So they have a blank, maybe it's $1 million annual budget. And their challenge on 300 miles of road every year is to say, well, which ones do we fix? Right?
Yep.
That's the challenge. So without having data, remember, what can be measured can be improved. And that's really what we're doing for a living. We're collecting all these data points about roadways, breaking them down block by block, doing a standardized condition assessment to get data. So now we know that, Con Drive, it's got a current condition of a 56. It's 12 years old. It's an asphalt pavement. It's 500 feet long, 36 feet wide. We've got all this data and historical information. We put that into a software package, basically. And now we can do forecasting, modeling, budget analysis, budgetary needs. So imagine doing that for every roadway within a city. So not just analyzing one thing at a time, I'm looking at the whole picture. We call that network level analysis, So that's kind of the long and short of what we're really doing.
So
it's
like
such a big need.
Simple terms, you're going out, you're driving, and you're taking video of the roads, and then you're scoring those roads and giving all that information to
a public works director, a city engineer, the mayor in a lot of cases, city council members. Our city council folks and our mayors, they don't really understand the engineering side of stuff, and they're not supposed to, right? But they have the questions. The questions are, hey, we're spending $1 million on roadways each year. What are we getting out of that?
Yeah.
What's that return on the investment? Is it paving 1 mile of road every year? Are we on a 30-year life cycle for the road? Meaning, I just pulled in here, taking a look at your roadway. When was the last time that was touched in terms of maintenance and repair? 17 years ago?
Repair.
No, it's been redone since then.
It has, okay.
Yeah.
It's been that.
Well, that's even worse.
It's
How
probably,
many-
it's probably
that
10 years ago.
That spot that you probably came over
Yeah.
coming in that looked pretty fresh.
Yeah.
How many? They had to come back and redo it 2 weeks after they redid it.
Yeah.
It's a story, and I actually know the mayor around here, and you can probably verify what he told me is it's the base was not built correctly.
Very common in a subdivision situation. You've got a
Cheaped
developer from day one. The developer's sole goal is to what? Build the
money.
roadway
Make
network,
money.
get that construction equipment in, get the tax dollars going in for the city side to take it over, right? So sometimes that happens. The base isn't really built up to what it's supposed to be. Right. Then you're putting a surface on top of it. Then you have continued construction traffic coming in as you're building out the phases. It fails, all that.
And now
good
it's
stuff.
going to get worse.
Yeah, we got more.
Because
You got another phase
we
coming.
got
80 more
80
houses.
coming.
Well,
That's right.
That's what they did the last time. They repaved the roads right before they started phase 4.
I believe they ground
true.
them all up and started. And we've been here 17 years. We were first, so I mean that it didn't last very long. So 30 years we're on our round 2 already.
Yeah, and then that's just it. I'm one of these weird hybrid guys. I grew up in an engineering environment on the asphalt. I understand all the tools in the tool book, but my education background is data. It's information technology. So when I had the opportunity to start my own company, I just went all in this pavement management stuff. I took a look at what was working, what wasn't working, and created a system behind it. And that works for so long. When you're a business owner in longevity, you all been doing this for 20 plus years. I mean, you have your days as well, right? Mm-hmm. Some days the simple act of making $10,000 or $100,000 just isn't motivating enough. You've been doing this a long time. It's just the same. Can I say that? It's the same shit, different day.
Let it fly.
It's explicit.
Yeah, it's explicit. Yeah, same shit, different day sometimes, right? And then especially when you're in a situation like where I was at, I was going through life changes, not just the business. I was going through the divorce side of stuff, figuring out how to be a single dude with 3 kids, how to get back on my feet.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a guy making 6 figures in his parents' basement, right? I mean, that's not exciting. So you deal with the anxiety or the stress and maybe the little bit of a depression and some of that stuff, I use the business as the escape, to be honest with you. And it really helped me because I had to be out and about. Day one of my business, I had to go out and evaluate roadways. 12 months prior, working for a company as the operations manager, I had a team that did all that for me. They just brought the data to me. I just sat all fat and happy, King James on his throne in his home office, analyzing data, meeting with clients and doing that stuff, writing proposals, the fun stuff, right? And when that was all taken from me, I had to go back out in the field. You know, I was one of those dads that got to go to the zoo with my kids and drop them off from school and do all those types of things, to all of a sudden I'm separated and I've got to go back out on the road.
How old were you at this time?
Oh, I'm 41. So, man, now we're doing math.
Oh, math on camera is hard.
Math on camera. So
Not
this was
easy.
2011. So, you know what, 9 years ago.
Okay.
So about
30.
31, 30. I was probably 31. We had Emerson when I was 30. So sounds about right. You know, and just kind of growing through all that process. But what Blake was really talking about was, you know, and it was actually about 3 years ago. This happened twice. Okay. So I got to a point where I just didn't want to do this anymore. You know, I enjoy stuff like this and helping other business owners and helping out people. And I didn't realize that I was actually doing that through my business with my clients. I just focused on, I'm doing roadway analysis.
So your clients, you're not really B2B, you're B to government.
It's business to government, and it's a tough world. I'll tell you that right now.
That's a whole different ballgame that I don't know anything about.
Yeah, when I look back at the ride so far, you know, because now we're on like year 22 of being in that world, it's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot. And what I'm really working towards now, kind of reinvigorated, I'll get back to that in a second, but I'm looking to help others in that contractor space or professional services space. You know, think of engineers and anything along those lines that are trying to transact business with government every day. There's a process that you need to follow. You know, we're all about systems and processes, and that's what I'm really building in my company now. But that's what reinvigorated me. So in 2015 actually, closing that year out, you know, I had a business partner, guys. You know, I had a business partner. I needed to get rid of him, you know, and it's not that he was a horrible individual, but it was my ex-father-in-law. You know, so you look at some of this stuff, and it was the last tie to my old life, and I needed to buy him out, and we were
Needed
just
to get away from it.
It's just not going to work.
it just wasn't working, man. And we tried to make it work. You know, we're you know, grown men. You know, we're business people. It just wasn't going to work, and I realized that in 2014, and I was trying to get this deal to come together, and you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but we just didn't meet eye to eye on the valuation of the business. I had to bring in a consultant to come in and do this stuff, and it just beat me down, like to a point where I wanted to be done, done. I got the valuation, and I looked at this, what I had to write this guy a check for just to get back ownership of my own company. I'm like, okay, fuck it, I just want to be done.
Yep.
Right? I'll go find something else to do. I believe in myself enough. At the time of doing that, so let's just fast forward to 2015. I purposely had a bad year in business because all I could think about is every dollar I made, I had to give this guy 40 cents. It was a 60-40 situation, okay? And it's not the right approach or the wrong approach. It's just where my head was at.
Right.
You know, I'm over here like, man,
That's understandable.
Every damn dollar that I'm going to make here, and I'm trying to figure out how to buy him out. We're not meeting eye to eye. I got to ride around and turn 40 cents. So I said, fuck it. I'll just have a bad year. I'll have a bad year. I mean, I'll still get paid. You know, when you set up an LLC and things like that, I don't know how y'all are structured, doesn't matter. You know, you want to pay yourself a salary of some sort. You know, that way when you're passing, you know, like an LLC is a pass through in terms of income. You know, I'm not a CPA or a business advisor, so there's my disclaimer.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you know, you pay yourself a salary, so I'll survive on my damn salary. I don't care about making a profit this year at all. Well, that got his attention.
Yeah.
That's what got his attention because guess what? When I'm devaluing, it's like watering down your stock, right? I'm watering down my valuation is what I'm doing because he kind of saw that and we finally got it done, you know. So I had to go write 6-figure checks to get this thing taken care of, and at that time I was just beaten up. That's just the reality of it, you know. So I was doing work in Florida, you know. So in Ohio, data collection during the winter is just kind of difficult to do for roadway analysis. I'm changing some of that. I'll talk about it later with artificial intelligence. But we were doing some work in Florida, and I was doing joint venture work. So I had another engineering firm that was basically white labeling what I was doing and being a fulfillment center for this company. They would go get the contract. I would do the work, right? They're my customer. They'd mark it up 20% or whatever it is, and we'd all win. And at that time, he said, you know, I want to talk with you. I really like your business model here. I really like what you're doing. I think this is a good niche. I want to get in. And I'm like, shit, man, I just got out. You know, I don't even know if I want to do this shit anymore, man. So we had a couple beers over about a 12-month period. I just kind of floated along. And then finally, I started really going down the road of personal development. So motivation is a buzzword folks. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I will tell you, for anyone, you know, if any of you are looking to start your own company or start your own business, motivation has to be a prerequisite. That's how I would say it. And you're all going to agree with that.
Yep.
If you're somebody where I was at, now, in my defense, I've been going through it on my own for multiple years. Plus, I've been in the business for so many years. I was finding myself, you know, watching Michael Jordan videos to get pumped up to go call a client, you know, or whatever the case was. I wasn't all in on the personal development side of stuff yet. I was just finding my own ways to fail through getting motivated to do the simplest of tasks. And that was my sign where I was like, maybe this isn't going to work. But this guy kept bugging me. You know, he really saw something in what I was doing and who I was. And sometimes we need that. You need validated. Sometimes you need validated. And he provided some validation for me. And I said, you know what, fuck it, man. If we're going to do this, I'm dissolving JG3 Consulting and we're starting Pavement Management Group. You know, it was a great way for me to cut tie with any of that old stuff and just come fresh, you know, new FEIN number and everything. So we did. Started Pavement Management Group in 2017, January 1, launched that company. I created what I call the Pavement Management Blueprint. I created an actual system behind what we do, not just, hey, do you want some services? Which ones do you want? Yeah. I said, fuck it, I'm going to tell you what the service is. You're going to follow the blueprint. Customers love it. They love it moving forward.
They don't have to think about it.
They don't have to think about it. You know, in the software industry, there's SaaS, right? Software as a service. We're developing pavement management as a service. And it's gaining a lot of traction for a small company like ours. So that's that, man. And then...
And there's no city that doesn't need that, correct?
No, every city needs some form of data collection. There's multiple ways to do it. You don't have to follow my 100% process, but you got to be doing something.
Yep.
So just like anything else, if you can be in the marketplace and carry a decent, what's the word I want? You know, like controlling area or whatever the case is, you know, or
your piece of the pie.
Ownership. Yeah. You know, like a percentage of the market. That's kind of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, if you're 3% in the market, 10% in the market. I mean, in the state of Ohio, for people that do this, I'm probably in the 30% of the market, which is a pretty good number. You look at other parts of the country, you know, so this business partner allowed me to instantly have credibility in Florida, set up 2 additional offices, you know, hire some more people. And he was a good mentor because he's a serial entrepreneur. I was a business owner. You know, I'm not even the biggest fan of the word entrepreneur, but I didn't really realize what that was until I met with him in 2016. He was telling me about the stuff he does and how he's building companies. So that was pretty cool to me. It was interesting. That led me down the road. Like, I looked at the shelf over here that they got. I don't know if you all can see that or not. This is probably pretty cool stuff. There's some good books out here. Like Grant Cardone's 10X. That was new to me. I picked that up in 2017. You know,
Isn't that about when you did too? Maybe a little
earlier.
It's been longer than that.
Yeah. But so this stuff was just kind of coming new to me. So I started reading all those things and getting into personal development and stuff like that. And that's what really reinvigorated me. I started seeing how I can monetize what I'm doing and set that up for a plan for growth and scale. Not just a flat, my company had been doing a flat rate every year. That's it. And, you know, so that's a good book. There's plenty of others like Traction. You have Traction. That's one that I went through as I started adding employees and learning how to do things. So the motivation had to switch from making $1 to, if you guys follow me enough, you guys have probably seen, my kids know it like the back of their hand. You know, my tagline is dream big, work hard, become legendary, you know, and that's just mine. That's I've been saying that for years. And I felt like I knew how to dream. I love dreaming. It's easy to think about the big picture for me.
I've got that.
You absolutely have that disease.
bad.
We've talked about it.
We all do.
Yes,
And
we do.
it's fun to sit down with like y'all. And we'll grab beers.
gotta have
you
a
know,
vision.
and, you know, I drink some bourbon right here, so we'll go through the vision part of it. And I'm definitely a hard worker, but sometimes marrying the hard work to the dream is the challenge.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I started learning to just take action. I always wanted to be somebody that thought through all my processes and kind of get some perfection behind it before I would even get started. And what a wrong approach, right? You know, and I said it upstairs, you know, imperfect action is better than no action. Think about that.
Yeah.
You know,
It sounds like you got a lot of your motivation from mentors. Like once you got that mentor from Florida and then you started reading the personal development books, it sounds like that gave you something to kind of latch onto and go for.
It really did, you know, and I didn't understand what a mentor was until I started reading and learning, you know. So for me, growing up in this stuff, and probably for some of you, like we didn't realize a lot of this existed. We just did things. You guys have had your own company for 20 plus years.
We just
Successful company.
We could have used a lot more.
Right.
I mean, we didn't start. I didn't start. I'm a mentor junkie.
Yeah.
I know you and I share a coach, and
Yep.
and we've done other things. I believe I might have been the one that introduced you to MFCEO. I remember talking to you at CrossFit one day. I mean, that'll change your life.
Rest in peace.
Speaking of CrossFit,
Yeah.
when did you join?
CrossFit?
Yes.
CrossFit Newark?
Yeah. Because that's where
Day
we
one.
met.
Day
Anyone
one.
that doesn't know, that's where we met at.
Day one.
Yeah, I'm telling you, life is pretty cool if you get your ass out there and do something with it.
We've met
right?
so many people through a bunch of gyms. We've been to a few so far.
Yeah.
Well, that motivation word you talk about, I think it does get kind of a bad rap because everybody's talking about being motivators, but you can't motivate somebody that doesn't want to be motivated.
No.
And like you were saying, you went and found the motivation. You know, you can't. It's just like you can't sell to somebody that doesn't want to buy.
No.
You know, you got to let them know. You know, our marketing side of it. You teach them what you do until they want it.
That's
You know,
right.
They need it, but if they don't want it, they're never going to buy it.
And that's
Yeah.
Newark, it's hard. There's a lot of people that really don't want to take their business to that next level.
Man, you're so right. And what I've learned, doing this, because I'm now kind of setting myself up for a position of what's next. I'm 41. I've been doing this payment management shit for,
You're
like I
young.
just said, 22. I am young. I get that. I'm not that young.
Old.
But
19.
Double my age.
yeah. Gee, thanks, man. Y'all see
You
this
need that
stuff right
button,
here,
Blake,
so
that
it's all.
wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, can we edit that or what? We edit
Hit the
that?
button.
This one,
No,
Yeah,
that's the one you made the sound of. So
I like that though.
wasn't.
You got some cool tricks over there, man.
We got
yeah.
toys.
You
Hear all
got
of
some
them.
sweet buttons.
We like our toys.
Got all
Man,
the
throw
buttons.
some buttons in there every once in a while. That's cool shit.
I don't have them all remembered. So
Remembered?
Well, the motivation stuff, man, like you said, like we all met at CrossFit. Let's talk about that for a second. Like, which one of you guys are younger, so maybe you, but I know like you two, for example, like when you saw CrossFit, were you not a little intimidated?
Well,
I'm
yeah.
still
At least a little bit, right?
Chase was the first one to go.
I started right the summer after, like the middle of summer, I would think, of after I graduated. So 2015.
Man, right out of graduation.
And it was like I graduate. No, it wasn't. I don't remember. I was getting fat. So that's why I was like, I'm done with all these high
After
school
being an athlete, he needed something to do.
hockey and lacrosse all the time.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I'm not doing anything. I'll just keep eating. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm getting fat. So I got my buddy from up the street and we went and tried it. And
No kidding.
I think we snatched the first day. So it was like the hardest thing to do.
Oh, my
but I was
Lord.
like, I like this.
And then he brought it home.
And
Yeah.
then we started doing it.
And
in
he
the garage.
started like,
We started doing it down here.
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Because we
Before
had
this
the
was
weights.
all-
And
back
do you
in the
remember
back.
when I mean, for me as an older woman, lifting like that was not something I did.
It's unheard of.
I didn't put a barbell on my shoulders like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that 35-pound bar feeling
We had to
so
buy-
heavy.
We had to buy that blue
Whale
stingray
Stingray.
thing. It like clips onto the bar and then it's like got padded and
I've
like
never even seen that.
formed
it's
to your
awesome.
shoulders.
Okay.
Because it hurt her so bad to
Because
hold
I didn't
a
have any
barbell.
muscle yet.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
it was just there was no muscle to hold anything.
But I
But
think that's the stories in the lesson, or the lessons in the story.
It was empowering.
It was empowering. So like a lot of people put the bar on, like, oh shit, I can't do it. It hurts. It's too hard. You found a way to keep moving through it. That's motivation is such a loaded word, such a loaded question. You know what I mean?
Well, don't you find a lot of the CrossFit people are that way? I mean,
100%.
not all of them, but most of them. I mean, it takes so much just to step in there.
So I mentioned some stuff about being uncomfortable, right? My whole mission for 2020 is how do I try to, as much as I can, stay in a state of being uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I'm comfortable doing this. Like I enjoy doing stuff like this, but at the same time, it's uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
I got to get off the couch.
You put yourself out there.
I got to throw on a t-shirt of some sort, and I got to put myself out there. And that's what this is. There was a point in time in my life where I'd be scared shitless to talk and let other people hear what the hell I had to say.
I was like that too.
But
Because you think no one cares.
you think no one cares,
Or that you're not
or
you think they care a lot.
smart enough.
that's what I was going to say, Pat. Or
Sorry,
especially
James.
in social media. No, that's all good, man. We'll do the fist bump on that one, man. Because especially in the day and age of social media, like we didn't grow up with that social media.
Right.
I was.
Can you imagine?
I honestly can't. I mean, it's crazy to me because like they all have done that. Yeah. We had to join a platform that wasn't built for us, navigate through it. You know what I mean?
That brings up a good point that I have.
Yeah.
I think we're in a transition right now because we run into people your guys' age a lot that are business owners that do not understand it and don't want to. But there's also a bunch of young business owners coming up, getting out of school and stuff that are starting to create their own businesses that these older people still have, and they understand the side of it.
That's
so
right.
They're an easy yes for us, and they kill it, whereas we're having trouble like trying to.
There's a lot of people that are they're worried about what everybody thinks of them, but they don't realize that they're not thinking about them at all.
Let me drop some value bombs on here, right? So if you've got, that's not a bomb. So y'all gonna like
have
this,
a
man.
bomb.
We'll go through them.
You're gonna like this thing. So I was probably one of those people who had a business and was kind of scared to put myself out there. I was scared of, well, what if the city engineer hears me say shit or fuck? Like,
that's
oh my
you.
God. But then you start realizing real quick that that's me. So with that said, let me say this to a lot of business owners out there that are maybe north of 35 or struggling with that. If you have any desire to grow your audience, you've got to create engagement. You don't have a choice. The business world has changed significantly. You all know that more than anybody. Like, if you guys aren't contacting them to at least, they're teaching you how to do a lot of this stuff. Pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? Learn from what the Cherubini company is giving you, and you're going to get to a point where you can't implement it all. And that's why we do this, right? Same thing in pavement management. Give. Gary Vaynerchuk wrote a great book, actually. Now, he's not somebody I really follow a lot.
Jab,
But jab,
right
jab.
hook.
Yeah, there you go. If you can give value.
He's changing a little bit.
He is.
I think other
gotta
people
stay-
felt the same way
he's
because
gotta stay
I was
current.
on board with you too.
Yeah.
It's too much hustle and grind your face off. But
He's got to stay current.
right.
Well, that's
He
it.
can't push the same thing over and
Right.
over. He's got to change a little bit and then push that and then change and push that.
Well, and that's
But what he said is
It's
100% true.
It's 100%.
Pretty much
You gotta
everything he
give.
says is true.
that's right.
And that's what this podcast is. It's education.
It's education. You get great content from a great company, and you get people like me. Hopefully, I'm adding value to the podcast. Like my story, my message for anyone listening: you're not going to be a buyer of mine more than likely in the pavement management world. But what was I saying? My sole goal moving forward is how do I grow and scale that business so I can put a 3x, 5x value on my say annual revenue, sell this thing to a large company, and I'm gonna go do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
For me, that's my strategy. A lot of business owners, that's what you were talking about, right? They just want to go, I want to hang out here in the city of Newark, and I want to, provide awesome dry cleaning services. Okay, great. Maybe if that's their passion, that's all they want to do, that's fine. The challenge is when you're struggling. You're waking up every day. You're frustrated. You don't have enough money. You can't pay your bills, and you're a business owner. I hate to say this, but shame on you. Because you can change that. You have a vehicle
Very easily.
that provides
It
a
is the
service that
easiest
people
time
need and
ever.
want. Now is the time to do
Yeah.
it.
It's easier than it's ever been.
It's easier than it's ever been.
You got free marketing platforms on your phone. Everyone's got a phone that has it. If you're a business owner, you have Facebook and Instagram and now TikTok. You have all these different LinkedIn.
That's what I use.
You
in
have
my
all these
world,
different apps that are free advertising.
It's free
Get on there
advertising.
and post.
Yep.
And
I
we
would tell
run
you
into
guys.
businesses all the time that are struggling, and we look at their social media, and there's nothing.
Haven't
There's
posted
nothing.
in months.
Nothing.
It's like no one sees you.
You're not busy.
Yeah.
You should be doing
You should be
at
posting
least
every
try.
No, and there's this concept out there. It's like, well, my gosh, I'm going to actually pay somebody to either A, set up and run my social media form for me, or B, create content for me. Why would I do that? It's because it's a business expense that's not on a typical P&L sheet in this day and age.
And almost every
on
time
mine.
it's because you're not doing it yourself.
That's right.
We're not doing things that you can't learn to do. You're just not doing it.
That's
and you
right.
shouldn't have to if you're running a business.
Yeah.
And here's the other part of it. So a lot of you business owners, I get it. You don't want to jump on a mic. You're scared to do that. Maybe that's not your personality. Maybe you're behind the scenes making something awesome that people need. Cool, right? Keep making that awesome product in the background. Maybe you're a chef or something like that. but you've got to have a social presence so the public understands who you are, what your values are, because I'll tell you right now, from a marketing perspective and from a buyer perspective, that millennial generation, they've got the most buying power. Guess where they're at? They're on social. They want an experience. They want to be connected to the business, not just simply because you make a good apple pie, right? You know, the cost of the apple pie is irrelevant in this day and age. It's got to be good, right?
Yeah,
You have to have a good product.
You got to have a good product.
What does
and
it
you gotta
stand for?
Tell people what it is.
You know, I don't know why the hell I said apple pie, but I did. You know, we'll just
Sounds
roll with
good.
it.
Pie.
Yeah,
'Cause
now
now I'm
I want
hungry.
some pie.
Thanks, James.
But yeah, no kidding. Now my stomach's growling. But you know, it's
I
you brought
look-
up some good
and
stuff,
I can't
man.
whip that up.
You know, there's so many businesses that aren't recognizing that or taking action against that, and there's so many others that maybe they're scared of growing. Maybe the actual thought of growing a business is scared for somebody.
There's a lot right now that are just happy with where they're at because we have
Economy's booming.
we
Everything's
know
good.
people that we've talked to them. Hey, you should do some marketing. Like we could really blow it up for you. Like, no, we're really busy right now. I think we're good where we're at. And that's when my thinking is like, this is when you should be marketing. If you market now and you blow yourself up and book yourself up and everyone knows you,
Right.
you're going to still be at the top when the economy is bad. When everyone else is down the drain, you're going to be doing good still.
Absolutely.
Instead of doing great.
And some
That's
other
just-
points, exactly. You know, there's so many sides to this. You know, when you start breaking down a business owner, but complacency is your biggest enemy. And again, I'm gonna keep using that word. They're comfortable. Maybe they're happy, but they're comfortable because maybe they did work hard. I did. You asked me about motivation and where I worked my ass off for about a 5-6 year period, and then I got to a point where I was making money. I was generating revenue. And I was comfortable. I could buy a house. I could go get whatever car I wanted within reason.
Yeah.
I could go, my washer broke. Fuck, who cares? I'm going to go to Lowe's and go buy
a new
one.
one.
Just throw it in there. No credit cards, nothing. No big deal. And then when I got too comfortable, which is a lot of these business owners, right?
Now.
All it takes is just one dynamic shift. It could either be you fell off for a week, or you got, maybe one of your employees got sick and then you had to kind of step it back up and you remember how to do things, or the economy changes and takes as a shift, or maybe you got new competition, and competition is not a bad thing, but there's always different dynamics. So I love what you said, so the other part of that is if you are an expert in what you do, or if the market is telling you make the best damn apple pies, man, those apple pies are amazing. My opinion is you have an obligation to share that experience with the world.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. And that was my mindset shift right there. I had somebody tell me that. Like, James, you know what you're talking about, man. So validation. You have an obligation, man, to impact as many as you can. And then it was like a light switch, man. I was like, fuck, man, yes, I do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I believe that's in that 10X book. It's your duty and obligation.
duty
to
and
tell
obligation.
your people what you can do for them.
you can
have
learn
to
a lot
help them.
from all those people who have been there, because I will tell you, I've almost lost my business 3 times in this 9-year period. 3 pivotal moments, one of which I had a client base. I was doing $500,000 in revenue. I didn't have $500,000 in the bank account. That's the other misnomer, is us business owners are rich. No, I had $500,000 in revenue. I have payroll. I have operating expense. We all know that stuff, right? But I had the city of Cincinnati as a client. Big city, 1,000 miles, so that's the other thing. In business, you need to find out what your currency is. It's not just dollars. For me, it's miles. How many miles?
Yeah.
Right? We talked about that. But they represented 55% of my revenue, annual revenue. And I got a call one day that said, James, I hope you're sitting down. And I said, hey, Chris, I'm not going to throw his name,
Right.
hey, how's it going, man? He said, we're going through some changes. We're going through some political structure changes here at the city, and where you fit in our disciplines. There's 17 different disciplines that they identified for city services. Where I fit, they were moving that towards a local disenfranchised business enterprise initiative. I'm outside of the realm of being able to do any of that, and I got nixed. It's as simple as that. So I lost a 6-year contract overnight. Again, there's no guarantees.
Right.
I had a 6-year contract. I was in year 3 of it, and boom, just like that. Sorry, we're changing things up. So for me, I was
Screw
staring
the
at
contract.
I was staring at $250,000.
Why do we even have those? That's why we
loss.
don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, in the government world, you don't have a choice.
You have to.
Right.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing. Like when you're in the business to business, it's okay not to have ironclad. You know. I'm not saying a handshake is always worth it anymore either, but you can have things in place where there's some leeway there, and you're trusting in who you're partnering with because of the reputation, the referrals, the work they put out. Things like that. Another disclaimer, like I'm their client. I'll throw that out there because I trust them to provide the value and service that I need. I didn't care about got to be done in 30 days or anything like that. It's a work in progress to get it right. So just stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, losing 55% of your revenue, I remember sitting on the couch like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to fire people.
Oh, when we hit when 9/11 hit, that dropped our business less than half because we were working with car dealers.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And nobody was doing anything. No one was buying a thing. And, you just had to come up with business.
You got to wiggle.
Yep.
But you wiggle.
Reinvented ourselves many times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we get it.
So like reinvent yourself or pivot. These are some things that you got to do. And that's how you've been in business for 20 years. Yeah. It's not been an exciting experience every step of the way, right?
Yep.
I mean, you've had your hardships, but the rest of us aren't going to really see those because you just keep moving forward. You find your motivation. You mentioned mentors. That's a good one. We share some mentors, But yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. If you have, some expertise in you, you got to be able to share that with everybody. And you got to realize that all it takes is your biggest client to say, nope, going somewhere else. That's just real world examples.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. I don't know.
So your mindset now, when all that stuff happens, and it happens, and it's going to happen again. You're talking about mentors. What's the James do now to keep motivated?
That's a good
there's
one.
that word again, but what do you do to keep yourself moving forward? And who are you listening to?
So a couple things. So I mentioned my whole dream big, work hard, become legendary thing, right? I had to figure out how to get the dream big or the work hard to marry the dream big. Okay. And that took me a couple years. I'm not going to lie. And I'm doing that now. The third part of that for me was become legendary. And that's not a cocky, selfish thing. The word I would use is legacy. So like we got kids, we got families, we've got causes that are important to us. And maybe for some people out there, they're involved in church or religion. It doesn't matter what it is for you, but you got to realize that real legacy lies in not just, when you die, you're leaving something, right? Mm-hmm. How do you have the most impact? And it takes dollars. It just does. It takes money, So that's what's kind of driving me right now, Pat, is I'm focused on that legacy component, figuring, what? I really got 2 decades left of real hard work. You know what I mean? And what if I did put in the time in it? What if I showed up every day? You want to show up every day, work. Mm-hmm. Okay. What if I showed up 99% of the time? Okay. And I did the work for 2 decades. What does that look like? And you can start thinking about what those things are, and that can help drive you. So for me, some mentors, and a lot of people don't understand like hiring business coaches. They don't get that stuff. I will tell you, I'm trying to position myself as a business coach. I think I've got a lot of value to add a lot of people at or below my level. I'm not on the highest level yet. So what do?
But you're above a lot of people.
But I am, exactly. And we're all at a level.
Yep.
It doesn't matter where you are, you're at some level. The best advice I give is find somebody that's at or below your level that resonates with you. You've got the same type of value system. They've had some form of success that you can kind of identify with. And absolutely, join their network. Figure out how to be a part of, how do you get a seat at the table? Mm-hmm. There's all those things, when opportunity doesn't knock, kick down the door. You can go to those quotes. They're all out there. They're on every damn motivational Instagram page.
I read them every day.
Read them every day. There they are. But so for me, it's like, okay, I have these tools and skill sets. There are some things that I lack. So you can hire somebody that carries those skill sets. That's why I hired you guys, some other things. So like Ryan Stuman's a guy that I've kind of, been around a lot with. He runs a group called Apex, Break Free Academy. He's somebody right now that I value. I like his message. We've got, again, find somebody you can resonate with, right? Who's doing what you want to do or has done it, and they'll help you emulate that. That's important. You know, like Tony Robbins is someone I respect, but he's not somebody that I would hire tomorrow because we're just different type of people.
Yep.
Makes sense. You know, and that all leads me to this. Like when we were doing CrossFit, we were in a gym one day, and Pat and I started striking up these conversations, and he said, James, because we get to know each other. And he's like, you need to check out this guy, Andy Frisillo, the MF CEO project. And I said, okay. And I did. And he was right as shit.
In the rabbit holes.
You know, then all of a sudden I'm going down way back in time on this thing, going through it. You know, and I even to a point at some point I tagged him to say, you know, thanks for turning me on to this thing, right? Because that's what you do.
I have told MFCO is motherfucking CEO. That's what he is. He's brash. He's run $100 million businesses, and I've told friends of hers, women, and they're like, I just can't get it. It's too much. I said, watch him. You know, don't listen to the F word. Listen to what he says.
Yeah, because
He
once you
is
stop,
amazing. I love Andy.
some people get too hung up on
Oh,
look
I said a bad word.
or words that are used. You know, when you break down what people are trying to tell you, that's how you should be valuing if it makes sense to you or not.
That's why I like Gary too. Vaynerchuk.
There you go.
I love listening to him, even though fuck is like every other
It's
word.
every word.
Mom won't say it.
You want to know what
I
word?
will. I did.
Do you want to know what drives me nuts about Gary? It's definitely not the F word because I use it a lot. He says like.
He does.
And I'm like. So he's
But I
built
love
his
what he
audience,
says.
You know.
Now you ruined everyone who
Thanks,
who never
James.
noticed that, like
so
me.
sorry.
Now I'm done for.
No, I've never noticed that with
because
you.
no, I haven't noticed.
I
him
haven't
doing
either.
it.
Oh, you
Now-
haven't?
No, now
I-
that you said that,
I
now it's-
apologize to Vaynerchuk Nation and VaynerMedia Nation because I've just fucking ruined you. Okay.
Now I'm
You
fixated
like-
on
He's
that.
got great wine though.
Empathy
Does
wines.
Jamie like wine?
You kidding me? We will order a case of the red.
Oh, then you need to get on
Yeah.
his wine library.
Do you
will
like
get
bourbon?
We have a subscription to the wine library.
I love bourbon, man. That's my shit.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie about that.
We
so.
got a little gift for you.
Yes,
Oh, we got gifts up in here?
Of course
we
we
did.
did.
You guys are awesome,
we
man.
had to, and you wore the right shirt.
Perfect.
You know, my sister-in-law, I'm gonna give her the plug because she knows me pretty well, and I'll end up tagging her somewhere down the line here. And my brother-in-law, man, it's I drink bourbon. What does it even say? Somebody read it.
I drink
bourbon and I know things, right?
Well, tell us about your collection because
Yeah.
you probably already got it.
I
But
hope not.
we just picked one. We knew you liked
Oh, I
it.
don't have the new wrist.
Yes!
Nice.
Hey, you
Hey,
guys are awesome,
no,
man.
Angie.
it's me.
Thank you very much. No, I appreciate this, guys. Anytime you get an
It had a
opportunity
cool
to try a new
story,
bourbon,
so-
I'm with it. This is one I've been trying to buy. I just haven't done it
Seriously?
yet. I haven't done it yet.
You got glasses.
We got
over
glasses if you
I-
got time.
Yeah.
Watch this. Do this on camera. Let's do it. I never miss an opportunity to drink bourbon. Some people have non-negotiables on things, right? Yeah, I want to talk to my wife and my kids, of course, right? But anytime there's a good bourbon in front of me,
Put the good ice in.
non-negotiable, I'm drinking it.
Nice.
So
Well, there's nothing wrong with drinking bourbon in front of your kid. If you can't,
No,
if you
no,
can't
of
enjoy
course.
that in front of your
All
kid,
my
I'm
kids
just
know
not
that.
talking about you,
Oh,
but
yeah,
if
yeah,
people
yeah.
in general can't
100%.
have a drink in front of their
Dude.
kids.
You guys are awesome, man.
You guys didn't really for the
don't think James
longest time.
No
That's
ice
true.
for JG3. We'll just
Not
drink
till
that
you were
now.
really old enough to
Nice and neat.
But
understand.
you also didn't really hang out with people that did
True.
until
Oh, I like
a
that.
few
Look at,
years
you guys
ago.
gotta look at
Yeah.
the ice right here.
Dude,
Chase made
special recipe right
this
there.
is a special recipe. You need to drop the ice recipe. He was
Yeah.
telling me about how he puts this together. It's
not-
really cool.
Clear
not
ice.
just water.
Who's in
and-
with me?
This is some crazy stuff. I'll get one
All
too.
right, brother.
I'll taste Pat's. I'm not.
There you go, Ange.
You're not gonna
I'm
like
not.
it.
I'll have my bourbon
It's
face.
nice and
James,
strong.
you're not an ice guy.
Look in that camera. Take a big old gulp.
Let's do it,
I'm
Ange. Come
not
on.
taking a
Watch
big
the-
gulp,
watch the
but
face.
hey,
I can't wait. Cheers.
cheers.
I'm like, I watch.
Oh,
Got a little bite to it,
I'm
right?
sorry, I can't do
Hey.
it.
That's good.
Yeah, it tastes like heaven.
That's good.
It tastes like heaven.
Not.
There's a couple things, so I'll tell you a little, just a
pretty good.
little
It is-
story,
I
man.
mean,
I like that one a lot.
the aftertaste is
delicious.
good.
That's got a lot of vanilla.
Yeah, a little vanilla.
That I'll say that is better than a lot of them I've had.
Yeah, that's
This
really
is a good
strong.
one, guys. You guys
That's
are
100
awesome.
proof.
I appreciate you.
Oh,
Means a lot. That's 100 proof. Yeah, it's really good.
New
Things
riff.
like bourbon and CrossFit, man. I look at those things as they're hard. You know, I'm trying to be. Here's what I'm gonna tell people. Okay, Especially because it's what, January 16th today? Something like
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
maybe?
Yes.
So there's so many people out here that probably set some form of a goal or a New Year's resolution or some shit like that. And I guarantee you already fell off, right?
Yeah.
But you got to remember that there's still 350 days left, right?
Yes.
So it's like
not
you don't
done.
have to all figure it out in 16 days.
You
Man.
haven't failed yet.
No, you haven't failed yet. You know, you can keep the failure mentality and you're going to show up on December 31st and say, fuck, I failed.
Yep.
But, you know, for me, state of uncomfortability, you know, doing things that are hard. CrossFit's hard. I don't care if people, I don't care if you like it, hate it, doesn't matter to me, right? It's hard.
It's hard.
Okay. What I like about CrossFit, and I never look at the damn whiteboard. I didn't do it at CrossFit Newark. I don't do it at Always Forward where I go now. I show up.
I look at it every day.
I don't. And the
That's why
reason
you
I
should
don't,
delete the app.
yeah, because I fear if I look at it, the bitch voice inside, that's what Andy says. You know, that I learned that.
Like,
That-
shit,
yeah,
that
you don't want
looks
to do
hard.
that. That looks hard. You can't do it. But that's just me. It doesn't mean you can't look at it. I'm just telling you. So I get up pretty much every day like clockwork, you know, around 5:30 a.m. I'm at that gym by 6. 5. I leave at 5:30. I'm there by 6. I get my workout in. I show up. I go up to the whiteboard. I'm like, okay, yeah, that sucks, but I'm here.
Yeah. I can't
I'm-
leave now.
I'm not going to be the other bitch and run out. I'm here to
Sucks
do it
every time.
every time.
I'm pretty sure I've never done a CrossFit workout that hasn't just sucked bad.
Yeah, but you
Exactly.
go in and you're like, oh, well, it doesn't look so bad. But
Yeah, but the thing is,
Those
you,
are always the
you
worst.
go in and they always suck. But then it's the feeling afterwards once you've done it and accomplished it.
What's that feeling?
they get you to come back.
Endorphins.
What's
Yeah.
that feeling? Accomplishment.
Accomplishment. You just you
Right?
go in, you do it, and then you're like, damn, that feels good. Like I feel good today.
And you're
does.
with other people.
And you're with other
that
people
are,
who suffered through the same thing, and then you're like, all right, let's go. And that's why people go back, and that's why they like it so much, is because they got
That's right.
that tribe mentality of suffering and then going and doing it all over again the next day.
Absolutely, man. And CrossFit is not the only means to get that in fitness, right?
No.
It's a vehicle. It's one that I enjoyed. What I can tell you guys is, you know, without airing dirty laundry about CrossFit gyms or anything, we don't care about that. It's just we already had a tribe that
Yeah.
we all went to like clockwork every day, and then that business shut down, and then we were all kind of forced to figure some shit out. That's what happens. So just like we were talking about, you as a business owner, all it takes is one customer to leave before you shut down. What if you're on the other end of that? What if you're the customer and you're
Yeah.
enjoying something, and it's taken away from you, right? That was kind of what happened to all of us from that transaction. It's no big deal. I was somebody that said, well, you know what? I'll just do it at home. And that didn't work. Because you mentioned group, Angie. That was huge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You walk into a room of war every morning or afternoon to do a workout together. You have that mentality. When you're on your own, you can't do it. You can't push yourself as hard. I
There's
remember
no
competing with him.
accountability. There's no accountability.
I remember swinging sledgehammers with you.
Yes, swinging sledgehammers. And I'm the 38-year-old in there like, oh my God, these kids are fucking killing me. But like they weren't like, oh, in my face trying to tell me to do it. You know, it's just motivating each other to
Encouragement.
do whatever you can do. That's what I loved about it. Mm-hmm. You know, you didn't have to try to beat somebody every day. You're just working against yourself. And that's where it took me a minute to figure that out. I'm a competitive person.
I'm still not there.
You know, well, you're young enough to not be there, but it took me a couple injuries. And then people are like, oh, see, I told you, CrossFit, you shouldn't have done CrossFit. You're going to injure you. And I'm like, I don't.
You get injured doing freaking anything.
And that's the thing. Well, I don't have time for
You get old like me, you get hurt sleeping.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're out here running every day.
101?
That's
102 today.
102.
102 days in a row.
Think about that. Think about the discipline it takes to run 102 times consecutively. Like I haven't
Not
done
fast, not far.
But
And
once
it's cold and raining out.
Once
Right.
you get
Not
in the
summer.
groove of something, it's easy to keep going. My
It's the
position
same for
right now, we took the summer off because we race mountain bikes. We didn't go to the gym hardly at all.
that. Sure.
I have not been able to get back into it. Partly because I've got a knee injury, I guess, holding me back, and I just can't get into it. I want to. I keep telling myself to, but I just haven't been able to.
You know what? Like you can say you're giving yourself an excuse. You know, if you want me to be that guy and say, hey, fuck your excuses, man. FYE, what are you doing? I'll be that guy for you. Or I think you have the right mentality, and I think you will get back into it. Maybe you're just not ready yet. You do have an injury. You know, sometimes your injuries aren't what they seem, and they go on, and now what? It's in your head.
But you can always modify.
You can always modify.
And I do
You know,
when I can.
and that's the thing. You know, sometimes you don't want to modify, but I walked into the CrossFit gym the other day and I'm like, what are we doing today? You know, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm not doing overhead squats today. Not happening. I'm not doing them. Like, and they're like, okay.
And I think that's the difference between you and I, because I've had a back surgery. I've been injured. I just had a wrist surgery. I have no problem saying,
You
nah.
had a surgery.
Exactly. Wrist injury. I'm sorry.
Like, when did you have that?
I thought I was going to have a surgery, but it's just, do that, or the coaches are trying to motivate me saying, do more weight. And I know how I feel. No, I'm not doing that today because I'm not going to get hurt. I'm going to get better without getting worse.
I love that, man. And I took those cues from you towards the end. Like, we had a lot of conversations about that. And that's where I'm at today. I'm perfectly fine with walking into the room, looking at the workout and saying, I'm modifying that today, or I'm going to use less weight because and even though I know I can do it, like, it's okay. I'm going to do 65-pound thrusters today because I'm struggling. It's been a long week.
Yep.
That's what we do now too. We went pretty seriously for like 2 years, maybe close to three. I would pick weight over how I felt every day. I would use a weight just because it's RX or something. And now I just go in and I'm like, well, I'll use a lighter weight and I'll just go faster.
Tell you what, I never ever wanted to do any more than like 45-pound thrusters.
Sure.
Those are the thing that I'm like, you know what, I could care less if I'm RXing this because I don't want to do them.
Well, we talked about how we got started in CrossFit, and I'll tell you my story real quick. It's interesting. So 2014, it's December, and you guys know my wife, Jamie. Yep. So we were dating, and I was going to propose to her. So I was out in a conference in Phoenix, Arizona. I had picked out the ring. I had that thing all taken care of. I was flying her into Vegas. So I was going to meet her in Vegas from Phoenix, okay, with some friends of ours. So the friends of ours knew about it, but she didn't, obviously, right? So I'll never forget this. So let's just say it was a Monday through Friday conference. We left Friday at noon to fly to Vegas. By Wednesday, I had told her, I'm like, hey, because I had tried on my dress pants. You want everything to be right and perfect, right? This shit, I wasn't buttoning them. Let's just put it that way, okay?
And that was before you did anything?
This is before
Jamie
CrossFit.
shrank them is
this
what you're saying.
This is before anything. So this is 2014. I got to the fattest fuck I've ever been, man. And I never forget it. I was just defeated. I'm like, oh my God, what happened to me? So I had to call her, message her. She would know the story better than me. And I said, hey, you got to go if you go in the back of the closet, there's some size 36 pants in there. I need you to bring those with you because these pants aren't fitting me. And she's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I was trying them on to make sure they fit because she knew we were going to a dinner. That's all she really knew. That was just say it was a Wednesday. The next day was a Thursday. Okay. No, I'm sorry. Let's say it was a Tuesday. So the next day is a Wednesday. And my buddy said, hey man, this is going to sound odd, but I have a friend that has the same name as me. I don't really know him that well. I just met him on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, this sounds like some creepy shit, dude.
Yeah.
This is weird. He's like, well, I'm meeting up with him, man. I'm going to meet up with him, have a couple drinks, and, have dinner. You want to go? I'm like, I just want to make sure you don't get murdered, dude. Yeah, I'll come with you. So I do that. This guy introduced, so this guy he was 39 years old, and he looked like a freight train, man. He looked like a Rich Froning fucking dude, man. And we're talking, and I had to go have a cigarette in between, and I drank probably 4 beers. I had 6 tacos. It was taco night. I'm over here just getting all fat and happy. And finally, at the end, I had probably a good buzz, and I'm looking at him like he had 2 fish tacos and a Mick Ultra. That's it. And he's like 200 and some pounds, right? Of just jacked up dude. And and I start thinking about what did I just eat and consume versus this guy, right? So finally, I'm like, those two are talking. I'm just kind of hanging out a little bit. Every once in a while, I'm saying stuff. I'm like, dude, what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm a quality control. Blah, blah. No, man, that's not. What do you do, man? How do you look like that? And he's like, you ever heard of CrossFit? Oh, right? Because that is a thing, man. A lot of people talk about CrossFit. And I was like, no, I have not heard of CrossFit. What is it? And he's explaining it to me. I'm like, so it's a competition to be the fittest person? He's like, kind of. So he's explaining it to me, and he's like, man, I'm a coach. He's like, how long are you in town for? I'm like, well, we leave Friday. He's like, what are you doing tomorrow around 5? I coach the 5 p.m. class. I'm like, well, we could do that. He's like, come on down. We're going to go do the class. I'm like, all right. So my buddy and I, we go to the CrossFit class. Thursday. This is a Thursday.
I cannot imagine going to a first CrossFit class without knowing what CrossFit is.
Didn't know it, man. I mean, I've always been.
Yet you're still here.
Yeah, I've always been like a risk taker. You know, I just wasn't in shape or
Just
anything.
say yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yes
Yeah.
theory. There you go.
The yes theory.
Have you seen them on YouTube?
No. Tell me.
You need to look
watch them.
Their
Yes
whole
Theory.
channel is
Group
based
of
on
dudes our age.
based on saying yes to more things without having to like question it too much
Oh, I got
or
you. Just
it's
do
getting
it.
uncomfortable. Just saying yes.
That's
you need
good.
to look
It's
them up.
really
It's
good.
really good.
I did that in 2017, man. I just said yes to everything. 2018, I said fucking no to everything. So we'll talk about that. But if we got time. So that was my story, man. So I show up at this guy's gym, right? And the 4 p.m. class was finishing up. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I was.
You
I
saw
didn't-
what they look
I
like?
didn't understand any of this stuff. And this was a fit group of people. So they were outside of Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah.
Pretty nice area. Let's
It's a
just
whole
say that.
different breed of people out
Whole different breed
west.
of people, which is cool. And then this dude shows up. So long and short of it was he put us through some workouts to kind of get us. But my first workout ever in CrossFit was Karen. Speaking of Karen,
150
they
wall
all
balls.
got this cat, by the way, that she puts up on social. It's funny.
150
Karen the
wall
cat.
balls. 150 wall balls for time.
150
my
wall
God.
balls.
That was
for
your first
time.
one?
Yes, sir.
That
Did
was
you
my
do-
first one.
No shit.
It was.
No.
Fist
Yeah.
bump.
That's
Fist bump.
weird.
That's crazy, man.
Feel
What
bad for you
what weight
guys.
what weight ball did you use?
I think I used the 14 and I maybe got to like
4.
I think I got
Yeah.
like 90 wall balls before the cap.
Hey, let me tell you. So let me explain this to you. I used, I think, a 4-pound ball. It was as light as it gets. Is it 4 or 6?
I don't know.
Something like that. They had
softball?
something
I
very
bet
light.
it wrecked you.
I did 50 in the time cap.
Yeah.
50. And I was done, man. First of all, this was one of those CrossFit gyms. They did a really good job of, you're going to go through a group warm up. I've been to a lot of them over the years. Some don't do that. I was already out of breath after the warm up, guys. I was like, man, inchworms. I've never done that before. Yeah. I was done. But we did Karen.
Shit, Karen, right?
Oh my God.
Karen.
So to bring it all back full circle, man, we get outside of the building, and I'm with my buddy, so he's safe zone, right? We're away from everything going on, and I said, man, I can't fucking move already. Normally, you don't feel this stuff until what, the day or two after?
Yeah.
Instantly, I couldn't move. I was fearing for my
Shutting
life.
down, man.
My
Shutting
body,
down.
like rhabdo, didn't know what it was, but maybe I was going through that. I don't know, shit, man. So I was just struggling. So we sat in the parking lot at least 30 minutes. I mean, just sitting, and I say sit in the parking lot, I was sitting on the pavement up
Was
against
he
the
the
curb.
same way?
He was, yeah. He wasn't as like out of shape as I was, but he's never done anything like this in his life. Nothing like it. So we were experiencing this together, is my point. All right. So that's bringing it back full circle. The next day, I got to fly out to Vegas. I'm proposing to my girl, right? Oh, no. So
You can't walk on the
I
plane.
Can't get down to one knee.
Man, so freaking true. She shows up and she's like, "Oh my God!" Like you, I'm like, "No, I'm not okay. We're not even gonna talk about it." But there's a shit called CrossFit. It's really cool, So I started, With all that said, the one thing that I remembered from that guy, and he's still a friend of mine to this day. His name is Dominic Caminiti. Actually, my friend is Dominic Caminiti, and his friend that I met is Dominic Caminiti. You'll probably see him on my.
How do you match that name?
It's crazy. And that's why they did that, right? It's pretty cool. But he's like a mentor by proximity, right? Because we became Facebook friends, and I'm like, he's 39, I'm 35 or whatever, 30. Well, I don't even know how old I was, whatever. I'm like, if he can do this stuff, why am I not doing it, right? So just leading by example, him putting content out there and seeing it makes me want to do it. Mm-hmm. And anytime I'm out here and I post workouts out, he's one of the first ones to say, boom, you got it done, boom. It's really cool.
Yep.
So that kind of brings you to group, your network and things like that. And I'm wearing a G-code hat. So I'll explain that real quick. So Stuman, you asked me about my mentors. He created this thing called the Daily G-code app. So it's a great way to focus on the 4 Gs. He calls them, everyone's got their thing. Everybody's got their 4 things or whatever. So it's, genetics, gratitude, grind, and group. It's basically focusing on those 4 things every day. So what are you grateful for, right? How do you go work on your genetics? CrossFit, you go hit the gym and do back and buys on Wednesdays. It doesn't matter. Your grind is going to be your work. Not necessarily like Gary, grind and hustle.
Yeah.
And then group is building your network, which is what we're doing today. Yep. Your podcast helps get messages out there to get more people, to understand what's going on. So that's kind of full circle where I'm at now, is being more involved in groups, because realizing there's more people out there than I thought that are all like-minded.
Yep.
And I'll let you guys talk about this a little bit, because we're all in a small town, right? We're all in a small town.
There's
but
not many of us.
There's not many
that
of
think
us.
this way.
And at one point in time, I thought I was a unicorn, let alone my business model was weird. No one else is doing this stuff. And then you meet people like you guys and vice versa, and you can kind of connect and have those conversations. It's worth its weight in gold.
Yep. I know you don't like and I agree with you on the entrepreneur word, but the stat is 4% of Americans are entrepreneurs. So 4%.
Oh, well, have you
Blake,
heard?
tell
If
your
you're out
story.
there, hook us up.
Have I
Contact
told
us.
you
Hit us up.
the story of my senior year in school?
No. Oh, well.
About the class?
You haven't, but your dad has, so you tell it.
We have a class our senior year in high school. It's called Journey to College.
Well, I pour some more bourbon.
It's actually a really good class.
Hey, can I have some of your bourbon?
Of course.
Yeah, it's a really helpful class. It helps students that are planning to go to college get their FAFSA stuff all together. They can pick their college. They help them with all the stuff they need to do to get to that college. Going into senior year, I still didn't know what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to go to college or not. I knew that I did not want to do the exact same thing every single day until I retire. I can't do that. It's just not me. So I started realizing that college was not what I wanted to do, especially because I would have went for business, which is what he went for.
I went for 2 years and didn't learn a freaking thing about business.
So I was sitting there like, well, if I went, it would be for that. And he's already dropped out because he's not learning anything. So it's like, well, then I guess there's no point in me going.
So little brother's paying attention.
Yeah. So
I like it.
one day she did.
Role model.
The teacher, yeah.
Hashtag. Sorry.
The teacher put us through some little activity where she had like 4 or 5 different like job field descriptions labeled across the room. And she told us each to like separate ourselves into groups of like which one you would go to. Entrepreneur was one of them.
Was it really one of them?
It was one of them.
That is actually
That's a
interesting
surprise
to me.
itself.
So, but yeah, go ahead.
I went over to that one and stood there all alone in the class.
one.
But there was a few other classes throughout the day of our senior
What was your
class.
graduating class? Like
150?
150?
Around that. The teacher comes up to me, not in front of the whole class, but as I was there, she's like, I just want you to know that out of your whole class, you're the only one that has went and stood under entrepreneur.
Isn't that sad?
That's less than 4%.
It's 2 things, man. Number one, it's sad because you're right.
When I heard that, I was like devastated. I'm like, the American dream. Are you kidding me? Nobody's got that anymore.
Man.
Nobody
That's
wants to
where
run a
everybody
business.
needs us.
You gave me goosebumps, Pat.
I'm telling you, I was devastated. I was like, really? And
I'm somebody that takes that shit seriously, man. Like, I'm about as patriotic as it gets, okay? When you look at what this country was founded on, it's entrepreneurship.
oh, absolutely.
People risking it all, to travel the unknown, to just have a better life. I mean, like that shit gets at me. I swear to God,
Yeah.
you don't understand.
People now, they're just not exposed to thinking that way.
No.
They
They're-
don't think like that at
they're-
all.
And I think society has taught us all, in the modern education age, and I'm not trying to knock down education because there's absolutely a time and a place for it. I've got 2 boys, just
There
like you
is.
2, man. One went 1 year, works for PMG, doing very well. He's got a career path. The other one, he just started. He sat down with me the other day. He's like, fuck, Dad, I don't know if I
Really?
can do this. So you got to figure it out on your own.
Just started your business or school?
So my 22-year-old started at PMG as an intern. He did 1 year at Ohio State and just said, Dad, what am I doing here? Mm-hmm. I said, well, keep doing an internship here. That's all I can offer you. And he worked. He had to prove himself, and he did. And that's good for him. The 18-year-old just graduated. And I thought, just kind of like, you're probably, we'll talk about from a parent perspective here for a second. Sorry. I thought he was going to play soccer. I thought he was going to go into college, be a soccer star, stand out. And he said, you know what? I don't want to do that.
Good choice.
It's just not what I want to do. I didn't understand that as a dad because that's what we thought was going to happen.
It's like a job when they get there.
Yep.
But when he finally confronted it and talked to me about it, I understood it. And that's what I said. I said, you know what? You're not making a bad decision here. I want you to realize I support you because being a college athlete is a full-time job on top of your athletics.
Yep.
It's not like he's Justin Fields for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I'm not trying to make those parallels, but college soccer players and college football players are a little different, right? So
I was the same way. I could have went to play lacrosse in college, D3. But it was like I loved lacrosse and I loved hockey. I played hockey since I was 4. I didn't touch the ice for like 2 years after we lost the state championship game.
Right.
And it wasn't because I just didn't want to. It was just I played it all the time for so long. And so I still love hockey and I love to play it. But it was like, all right, I can kind of move on and start to do.
And now we found things that we like way more.
And now we found stuff that we like. We found another thing. But it's like,
it's scary for moms and dads.
Going back to college, it was like, I'm going for business and I'm not learning. Like, you have to take the general education classes, which I think I don't like.
Well,
and he had to deal with the politics too. You know, that's, they're teaching politics, which is not,
that's not education.
No matter which side you're on, it's just not.
Well, let's just call it what it is. I mean, higher education has become big business. And if you think I'm wrong, then we can't be friends. So it's like
you have to go for 2.5, 3 years. You have to do all these classes that don't mean anything before you can learn the stuff that you actually need to learn.
Yeah. The unfortunate side of stuff is that, a college degree does not mean what it used to mean in the 70s and 80s or maybe even the 90s.
And we've struggled with not, we still get parents going, or family asking us, why aren't they going to school? And it's their choice. It's not our choice. It's what they want. I agree with it.
If I fuck up, then I'll have to figure it out.
Yep.
I'll have to go get a job at Wendy's and pay for my school to get a degree to go get a shitty job that I hate.
Look, my boys are on the same path as you two are, clearly, right? They'll get it figured out, and I will tell you, when you come from a divorce situation, it's a little different because we have 2 different competing ideologies on stuff.
That would be hard.
Right? But we make it work. We have a very good, civil relationship, but at the same time, there really are 2 competing ideologies here at play. So I don't overstep my bounds. I'm not all in on, you got to be an entrepreneur, or you got to go in your own business. I try to lead by example. Your parents have done that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You guys are paying attention. You're right. You're the big brother, bro. I was the big brother.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got to do it. As the little brother, you got to pay attention, absorb all of it. You know what I mean? And make good decisions, to the best that you can.
Well, and really, we never thought they would do it. We never pushed it. We never told them this is what you're going to do. It was always, you're probably going to go to school. And they just kind of absorbed it.
You did say it was, we were going to school.
Right.
We didn't really have an option until it just hit.
Literally, this type of discussion is our dinner table. When are we not talking about business? Yeah. What this idiot business guy should have done. Yep. This idiot went out of business because he wouldn't go on Facebook.
And that's the
hopefully
thing
he's not pointing at me.
No, I was way over your head.
And that's the thing I realized when I was going to college. I was like, I'm not learning anything. These 2 years have basically been wasted. I've learned about chemistry and stuff that, like, I took a movie class. I was like, I don't need to know any of this stuff.
But you're well-rounded.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember any of it now. But those 2 years could have been spent here learning from them, which are pretty much, those are our biggest, me and Blake's biggest mentors are our parents because they've done it and we're here all the time. And it's like, I came to the realization that I was like, I have to, like, I'm losing education, I'm like getting less education going to school than if I was to drop out and just work and learn from
And we struggle with that because as the parents, we're like, if this is the wrong decision, that's on our shoulders, but
that hit me in the heart, man.
Proud dad, right. The proud dad talking, the biased is with what they know already, not that we're anything elite, but they know business and marketing and sales. They could go and sell freaking cars and blow everybody out of the water if they had to.
Oh, if we had to, I could destroy a car dealership leaderboard right now.
Man, I want to tell you guys something real quick. So this is a good story. Great segue into what I'm about to say. So
I knew that.
That's what I do.
That's why you did it.
That's what I do. Set them up, knock them down, vice versa, man. I'll set them up for you, bro.
Oh my gosh.
I just bought, it was the end of the year, and I just bought 3 cars, okay? And so some people watching this like, oh my God, you bought 3 cars. They're for business, man.
Pretty cool truck.
Two for business, 1 for myself. I'm selfish, right? But the bottom line was I'm working with the salesperson, okay? And we take a test drive on the second car. So not, the first one, I drive it. I'm like, yeah, that's gonna fucking go work, man. Let's go talk to the finance guy, get it figured out. Drive the second one. On the way back, he's talking, then he's quiet. Just out of nowhere, man. This dude's quiet. And I'm like, okay, like I don't want to talk anyway. I'm like, I'm just gonna drive it back and go buy it anyway. And he looks at me and he goes, man, and I've worked with the guy before. And he said, man, I just have to throw this out there. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you buy 3 cars a day, I will become the salesperson of the month for the first time in this dealership history.
Seriously?
For himself in like 5 years. I'm like, really, dude?
Been
He's
loafing.
like, yeah, man. He's like, I really put in the work this month. I really worked hard. And where he's at, I mean, if he's watching, hopefully he's watching because I'm giving him credit, right? I'll tag his ass in this thing. Mm-hmm. He's been putting in the work that he knows how to do, okay? There's been a seasoned salesman there for many years that pretty much dominates that sales department, okay? And he was talking about this. He was explaining this, explaining that dynamic. And he said, man, this would just really, plus it's December 30th. I'm buying fucking cars, right?
There you go.
That's for some tax purposes. Anyway, I said, look, bro, I'm going to buy the 3 cars today, number one. But number 2, what if you were the salesperson of the month every damn month?
There you go.
And his eyes got big. He's like, well, I haven't even been the salesman month yet in 4 years. I'm like, bro, you can do this every damn month if you want because I don't want to name the dealership. So I'm being careful. I'm like,
It's local.
I've been I've been trying to buy cars for months. So I'm a consumer just like the rest of you guys. We go online, we do shit, we look through stuff all day, every day.
I haven't seen you yet.
What I said was, I haven't seen your dealership. I don't know who you are except for my transaction with you, and none of your salesmen are on social, bro.
I guarantee that top guy.
I know a
not on
company that can
Facebook.
fix that.
They sit there and wait for somebody to walk in the door.
Yeah.
And
This
is
take
where-
turns.
And that's what, when we talked to the dealership that we were talking to, that's what happened. We pulled in, we walk in the doors,
We didn't even get greeted.
we didn't even get greeted. Every salesman was sitting at their desk.
Doing
just
what?
Nothing.
They just stared at
Absolutely
us.
nothing. No one got up and said, hey, my name is Chase. How are you guys today? Oh, we're just here for a meeting. Oh, okay, great. Here you go.
See, look, we're going to get this damn podcast
Damn.
we're doing right now to every fucking buddy. So if you're a salesman right now, listen up. What if you are one of, I don't know what they got, like, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 salesmen on a day, salesmen and women, by the way. Mm-hmm. What if you were the go-to person? That's what I was trying to create for him.
Everyone knows your name.
Pinky.
So I'm like, what if? So here's what I said to him. Right?
Hold up the
You guys know?
phone.
You guys know Pinky?
Pinky.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's in my fucking network,
Well,
man.
he's from
Yes.
That guy's
from Ryan.
selling.
He's from Ryan Stewman.
Exactly.
Apex.
That's my boy right here. So now I got sidetracked. You guys know Pinky.
We told you.
Man,
Look at
that's
Pinky
awesome.
does it, man. You hold the phone up and you say, hey, I'm Pinky. I sell
That's
cars.
it.
Look at this car I got for sale. Call me. How hard is that?
That is
not
all
hard
he
at all.
does. I shit you guys not. It really is that simple. But you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
And a lot of people won't hold their phone up and talk
They
to
won't
it.
do it.
None of them will.
Yeah.
And we need
You
to
don't
do
even
it
have to-
more.
Have you ever
Yeah.
seen one? You've been shopping for cars.
Zero.
You don't even have to talk to anyone. You literally have to go out in the lot by yourself and talk to your phone
Every day.
every day.
Can I tell you what I told him?
Go to every car. You get 12 new cars a week or something like that. That's what we were told.
Say it with
What'd
your
you tell
chest.
I'm gonna tell you what I told him.
Say it with your
You guys
chest.
know our market, right? It's pretty small.
Yeah.
And behind the times.
Yes.
And behind the times.
That's our fault.
Now I'll tell you, like, I bought a Ford F-150. I had a Nissan Titan. I bought
Pretty
a Ford
cool truck.
F-150. Now
I like
I'm
it.
all in on Ford F-150s. So for me, that's like, now, what's that Mustang look like? What's that Shelby like, man? I'll trade in my damn Acura TLX. I'm gonna get this shit,
Raptor.
right? That's where I'm going.
Yep.
That's where I'm going. So my next site is that fucking Raptor, right?
Hell yeah.
They got 2 on the lot.
They haven't moved for months.
They haven't moved, dude. And I'm at a spot where I've got multiple vehicles, personal. So I'm not ready for the Raptor yet.
I mean,
I'm just not there yet.
You could
You're
off
just not
those
cool enough for
vehicles
that
and
yet.
get
I'm just
the
not ready
Raptor.
yet, man. So here's the bottom line. I told him, I'm like, dude, do you realize? I said, how much is that? There's like and I'm gonna get murdered here for a second here. I'm not a Mustang guy or anything like that. They have a badass Shelby GT, God knows what, in the dealership, in the showroom. I'm like, hey man, how much is that thing? He's like, it's about 68,000. I'm like, 68,000. Okay. I was like, probably one of the nicest cars you've got on the lot, right? If not the nicest. He's like, oh, hands down. And he starts talking about it. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like,
Film it.
you see what you just did? He's like, what? I'm like, fucking put the phone on front of your face in front of the car and say that.
Yeah.
He's like, what? I'm like, just do it. The other salesmen and women are going to think you're an idiot.
They're gonna make fun of you.
Then I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Well, the sad thing
Just
is
go
they're
do that.
trained to sell when all they really have to
Oh,
do
my
is
Lord.
show.
Show.
What you got.
Show. Tell a story.
Yep.
Explain. Add value. Talk about the engine.
And that's what I hate is when they do try to do social media. It's, hey, look at this new Ford F-150. However much it is, come stop by.
Come buy it.
If you're a Ford dealer, everyone
nailed it.
knows that you have an F-150 in
You
the
nailed
lot.
it.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell us.
That
Just
goes
know.
over every business person. You know, when they finally do that, or run an ad or make any kind of post, it's, hey, buy my shit.
Yeah.
And that's as far as they go. And they leave out the story.
They
we
leave out
love
the
the stories.
And no one wants to do that.
Right.
No one wants to buy your shit if you're saying, come buy my shit.
That's what I told him, man. I'm like, imagine you get in front of the car and you tell the story, right? I said, dude, you got 2 Raptors over there. You know how cool those things are?
Fucking
I tell you,
sick.
my network loves those things. You don't even know about my network. I'm like, walk your ass out there when they're on Facebook anyway, by the way.
Hire us and we'll come drive those to a cool
That's what I was
spot
getting ready to say.
and take some dope ass pictures of those.
Hey, and you know what?
And
I'm
that'll
not
sell the shit out
guys.
of
I'm not even a baller yet or anything like that, but they're gonna drive my cars. Excuse me, and that's what we're doing.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Speaking
gonna take my cars out. Just
Once
do
you
some
get
cool
that,
shit with
once
it.
you get that Raptor front end on yours, we're taking some dope pictures.
That's how I was gonna do that.
Yeah, you told me. I told you at Coffee Shack.
we just
Do you want to do it for me? If I buy it and just do it for me, I'll pay you.
Shit, I like it. Yeah.
See, that's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Speaking of pictures and validation and just doing your thing, recently with blenders,
Blenders. There you go. I didn't tell you.
I
this.
have the
What's that?
camera.
Sunglasses company.
Do you know Blenders Eyewear?
I
They
don't.
make sunglasses and goggles. They do it.
You're so old.
You don't get that on
Look at this shit, bro. It's old.
It's probably on your phone now.
By the way, guys,
Since we've talked about
this is
it.
what I'm saying. I'm bald.
I don't.
What's
We'll,
going on?
we'll show you.
Okay.
No. Well, it's
Big.
because my head's too damn small to wear the headphones. I told you.
Big eyewear company.
Okay.
Like
Nothing wrong with a
up
little
and
head.
coming. Like it blew up.
Let me see that. Is this isn't a local company? Is
No.
it?
They're in California.
Big time. Like
What
ev-
part?
Probably Southern.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Southern for sure.
They're hip dudes.
Yes.
Yeah, San Diego.
Yep.
Nailed it.
So,
That's
story. We've got the camera. I've learned how to use it, and I enjoy taking pictures. I've spent countless hours on YouTube learning how to use it, and we went to snow trails a week ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Or no, it was probably a few weeks ago. That one was. And I made it a point to stop and take pictures just for the Instagram, whatever.
I took some damn good
Yeah.
pictures.
But I set the settings. So,
See, that's that brotherly rivalry.
There's no
stuff, right?
competition
Yeah.
here.
Not at all.
but I posted a carousel of 3 images on Instagram. I tagged Blenders, the eyewear company, because I was wearing their goggles, and I also had the ski stuff on of another company. Tagged them in every single picture, so they got 3 notifications in a row.
Right.
Also put 3 of them on my story, tagged them in each of them, so they got 6 notifications in a row of me, and they were good pictures, so they notice. They were on a ski trip in Utah, and I get a DM from Blenders Eyewear saying,
Yep.
hey, we really like these. Can we use them for ads, our Instagram and our website? I said, hell yeah. Can you tag me in them? She said, for sure, we'll tag you. And I said, well, can I at least send the files to your email or something so that you have the full quality? And I had several more that I was going to give them anyway. So she's like, cool, send them here. So I sent her the files, and hold on.
But you gave them more than they asked for.
Yeah, I gave them like,
Under promise,
there
over
was
deliver.
there was 3 on my Instagram. I ended up giving like maybe 10.
Yep.
And she opened it. Where's it at?
You add value without asking for anything
Yeah.
beforehand.
Every time.
All right, so here it is. I sent them. I get an email back. Thanks again for sending those photos over. I'll be sure to tag you when I post them to our feed. All the photos are really rad, and it looks like you get up to a lot of fun activities on your Instagram. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did talk to her. I asked her about like their ski trip and told her like
Look at that.
what I was planning to do. So I
You were
made a
actually
little bit
interested in
yes.
what they were doing.
I made a little bit of
Shocker.
conversation and just like got to know what they were doing because they were on a ski trip, and I was like, hey, where are you at? Sounds fun. They're in Utah. Easy. So I got this email. would you be interested in us sending you some free product for some content of you using them in the future? It would be rad if we could get some more pictures of you in your blenders for your trips to Snowshoe and a place in Vermont that I told her I wanted to go. She said, I'm CCing this email over to our content coordinator, Jordan, in case that's something you're interested in. I said, fuck yeah.
Dude,
I'm
hell yeah,
interested in
dude, that's
that.
a fucking mic drop.
So
right
I have,
there, man.
I've got free products
y'all
coming
just got
over.
schooled
Boom.
by some kid who showed up in his senior year.
19-year-old kid
Said, I'll be an entrepreneur.
getting national exposure.
One out of $1.50.
Yep.
Good job.
Thank you.
You know, so like guys like us in our old age are just learning that stuff.
And that
man.
was
and you're
that was a
already
little bit of
dissecting it.
validation for me, where I was
Good
like,
for you.
I know what I'm doing.
We got the cameras, and now they're actually paying off.
And
a
now I
little
just
bit.
need to go do more.
But the key was you talked to her. You know, even though it was on
You don't
That's it,
just
man.
say, you don't just say, "Hey, send me stuff."
yeah, can I have
Send
some
me a
free
bunch of
shit?
free goggles and free sunglasses. You say, "Oh, cool. How are you guys doing?" Like,
That's it. It's like so many people are wrapped up in, monthly quotas and sales goals and stuff like that, that they just sell. It's like, and I just had a post the other day. I don't know if you guys caught it. It was probably yesterday, actually. I was just in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I did a free lunch and
tour.
learn. I'm on a fucking tour, y'all.
That was
Is
a
that it?
great
That's pretty good. It's
post.
a good post.
I was
Good
very
post.
proud of you.
Thank you very much. I learn. I pay
was
attention.
good.
I learn. And I implement. That's what we should all be doing, right? We're all here to teach, learn, all that stuff. So yeah, I feel like I'm on tour. It's been crazy. It's just been fucking crazy. Dallas last week, Houston, Dallas, Tennessee this week.
And this is all the pavement stuff.
This is exactly. Plus Apex Entrepreneurs, man. Like I'm
Dallas.
personal development. I'll be in Missouri for 3 days next week, and then Florida the week after. I mean, it's hard on the family and stuff like that, but when your goals align with your relationship and it's pretty cool stuff.
it's good for the family.
Yeah, my wife's out of town all this week. I'm gonna leave this podcast, go pick some kids up, and we're doing Peony Bistro. Great plug, by the way.
Oh,
yes,
that's our favorite.
Great plug if you're local.
Yes.
Way better than the others.
Then we're gonna knock out some homework.
I
And,
didn't know you liked that place.
Oh, we love it. We love it. It's a good spot. We need to get them on board.
Yes.
Some of the stuff, right?
Yes.
It's like even
Provide sushi.
I'll take that a step further. So there's a company called NEC Global. It's a Japanese firm. They're huge, probably a 10-figure company. So they're flying in to Cherry Valley Hotel. That's where I sent them. I got a meeting with them tomorrow. It's my third meeting
At the draft at the tap house.
Well, that's not open yet.
But
not.
By the way, did I tell you about that?
you haven't. I thought.
Okay, that's not open until the end of the month. So we'll talk about that because I've got this
We do need to talk about
barbells
that
business and bourbon thing
off
I'm
the-
doing,
off
which is
the mic.
awesome. We'll do it off the mic, but I got a little sidetracked. But they're coming in and they're at the Cherry Valley Hotel.
Yeah.
And that's a great spot. So I gave them a little DM like, you guys got to hit that up.
Nice.
Yeah. So
It is good.
So
Great
even though
sushi.
you already mentioned it, it's not supposed to be mentioned yet. Your little group you're doing. If,
yes,
If people
I did
are
drop that,
interested,
didn't I? I'll probably pour some bourbon while I talk about it.
Just pre-warning you too. We're coming up on an hour and a half.
Yeah. What time is it?
125.
go on
Almost
5:30.
5:30.
So what time you got to
Okay,
go?
perfect, man. Yeah, we're about good.
So you got kids to pick up.
I know, man.
We got bikes to pick up.
But what I was saying,
We all got shit to do.
Jesus.
Dude,
They got mountain bikes to
we
go
got
get.
mountain bikes.
Sponsored mountain bikers now. So
Yeah.
That's true.
What I was saying is-
specialized mountain bikes.
with Mr. Golden here and the entrepreneurs, if that is you, or that if you want that to be you, the entrepreneur thing, just comment on wherever this is, hit us up, because there's going to be some group things, whether you're local or not.
That's right.
The network is where we're going to be connecting with a lot of people. So that's part of the reason we do these podcasts, is to meet like-minded people.
Yep.
Yep.
And, don't be afraid to reach out to us.
No, that's it. Like step outside of your comfort zone.
If you are afraid, you're never going to get anywhere. Reach out.
You're not. We're all here. Number one, to like share our experiences and to help people out. Like business transactions are business transactions. Like if that makes sense, we'll all do all that stuff. Whether it's coaching, marketing, it doesn't matter.
So what I just thought about is, I know we're going to be having a networking event here soon.
Yes, we got that coming up. It's gonna be fire too.
We're so far, everyone around here is so far. There we go.
There's my man right there.
It's so far behind. We should just take it on ourselves to make everyone else catch up to our times.
Dude, follow the lead. You know what I mean? And
We are so far in front of everyone else around us that, I mean, we're like the Ryan Stewman type for around here.
100%, man.
Just do that.
Well, and
Blow up a
that's
big
the way
event.
networking works.
We'll do it.
I pay, I paid more for coaching than I paid for college.
Then I probably actually.
And that's what people don't
That's
understand
true.
is just because we didn't go to college doesn't mean we didn't learn
Yeah,
from
education
I watched
is
a
huge.
fuck ton of online videos.
Right. We watch videos all the time. I buy courses constant. I'm an
Yes.
addict.
He's an addict of courses. I love that.
Courses
Yeah, I've
and
watched
I mean
a
it's
lot of
I learn more now than I ever did in school. But I choose, I've got books and I try, when I buy a course, they get to watch it too. And the coach, what I'm trying to say is the coaches that we pay for, and you're in this too,
Right there.
are above us. We're getting lifted up to them. We can do the same thing for people
Around here.
teach the people around us. And that's what we're trying to do is teach people more business aspects of trying to catch up with the rest of the
That's
country.
the same thing with like everyone in Blake's class that didn't know that they would like want to be an entrepreneur. They've never
Right.
thought that way, so they don't know
man,
that they can.
The reality is,
They're
like,
they're thinking
You don't
is
have to be
limited.
far ahead. You just got to be one chapter ahead.
one chapter ahead, one step ahead, And that's the thing. I smell a joint venture. But with that said, like, so true. Whatever level you're at, if you're in business or thinking about starting a business, there's no reason you can't make six figures in 2020. Like 6 figures sounds like a lot of money to a lot of people, $100,000, right? But that's not that difficult. It's taking a look at what you want to do, right? Who your ideal target market is, put a marketing content strategy together, right?
Yeah.
And then just go do it. And then reverse engineer that shit back to how you make 100K. That's what I did in 2011 before I knew about any of this shit. That's what I did. How do I do this how do I make $100,000 next year? I wasn't making that at the company I worked for, so I had to figure that on my own, and I did, and I hit it right away. Now it's how do I make multiple six figures? Right. How do I get the business on a 7-figure track? Stuff like that.
How to get your kids hitting 6 figures.
How do you get your kids hitting 6 figures? Think about that one, man. Like that's epic,
pressure.
man. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna give you one of those, man. Like that's cool shit. So we all can help you do that. Like, and I would actually put a guarantee. I'd write it out. That's where I'm at.
I keep telling him we need to do some coaching and consulting. Just
We're
'cause
working on it.
A lot of people that don't have the money to spend on us
Full-blown
doing
marketing.
everything, because we talk to people all the time and they're like, wow, I've never thought of that. That's awesome.
Dude, here's what we're gonna do. This is off the cuff with JG3.
JG3 off the cuff.
Look,
Link in the bio.
if you did not make 6 figures last year,
Nope.
just put that in the comments, okay? And just say, I don't know, what are we gonna say? Just, I need help.
Help me.
Help me.
Give me some help.
I will straight up guarantee I will give you a recipe to make 6 figures. If you're willing to take the action and follow the process, you'll be successful. If you're not, that's fine. If you take action and don't make the 6 figures, I'll give you your fucking money back because you can do it.
Sounds like a good apple pie.
That's it right there.
Oh,
man.
got something with apple
Man,
pie.
fucking hit a button, dude. That's how you drop it right there.
Hit a different
That's
one.
how we end it right there. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, that's good. That's an hour and a half.
Yeah, pretty much.
We
on
were
the
all over the place on that one.
Wow, that's what it's all
I
about
like
sometimes,
that,
though.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't. That was
Close
good.
it out.
So, as we close out, where do people find you and what you do?
JG3.
Drop your links and
Look, I'm plugging the JG3, man.
we'll,
That's,
we'll put it in the show notes and everything too.
that's
but
awesome, man. I appreciate it. Like, this is JG3 is the Instagram handle. The JG3 Project is my podcast. You can find it anywhere. The whole podcast concept for me is just me dropping 7 to 20 minute value bombs on where I'm at and what I'm trying to do as I'm leveling up, right? And it just helps other people do the same. I'm getting some good feedback there. You can find the JG3 Project on Facebook. That's it. Otherwise, you can just reach out to me whenever you want. James at jg3consulting.com. It's simple as that.
There you go.
and we'll link it up. We'll have tons of links about everything we talked about.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm sure this won't be the last time we have you on.
No, this is fun stuff, man.
We'll see you tomorrow,
We'll do a
James.
spinoff. We'll do a spinoff.
1/100th of the stuff that we could talk about.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make a fucking series out of this.
Yeah.
'Cause this
Hey,
is
I'm
fun.
game.
Yeah.
We'll do a series of it. We'll make it monthly, quarterly, whatever the fuck it is, man.
I don't believe we'll run out of content with you.
No, you won't. Trust me. Between now and then, I want people to realize, I swear to God, like, you need to realize at some point, if you're a business owner and you think you're a jack of all trades, you're a jack of none, right?
Yep.
And it took me a while to figure that out. And I've employed this firm right here, some great people. I love the family orientation stuff. It's awesome. They do great work. So please consider that.
So to close it out, whether we're talking to the younger guys, you're talking, helping people. Age doesn't matter. But if you could give advice to the younger James,
Oh shit,
what's that advice?
it's one of my
This is
favorite
another
questions,
30
man.
minutes, right?
Here we go.
Pour a little more.
Here we
We're
go.
gonna have to get James an Uber.
Can somebody text my kids and tell them I'll be late picking them up? Jamie, I apologize. No, seriously. Like, if I could give advice to my younger self, right? Here's what I'd say: step outside of the comfort zone and take action. Don't worry about it being perfect. Don't worry about having it all figured out. If you've got a passion, follow that passion, but follow it up with a massive action, right? You got to put action behind your words. As soon as you start doing that, and don't be afraid of failure. Failure is one of those buzzwords in the entrepreneurship world.
You have to fail.
We're also scared of it in terms of society, right? Don't be worried about it, man. Like,
You embrace it. That's one of the
Embrace
things
it.
that every entrepreneur will tell you. You have to fail. Don't be afraid of it. You have to fail.
you guys remember like an hour ago when I talked about I'm watching Michael Jordan videos?
Yep. That was
Straight up, I'm not fucking lying to you guys. I fail, therefore I succeed, right? That's it. If you don't put yourself out there, if you're not willing to take the risk does not have to have a dollar amount tied to it. If you want to go tap out your 401k to start that restaurant, catering business, go for it. But you don't have to. Risk means a wide variety of things. Putting yourself out there. Do a fucking podcast, right? Here's something that's interesting to me. Ryan Stewman talks about power moves, right? You guys have probably heard this, okay?
I have been following Ryan for a
long time.
I think I followed Ryan before Andy Frisella, and
Yep.
I just he's got a great story. If anybody wants to look him up, Ryan Stewman, and he's a coach. He's done a lot of stuff, but he is ahead of the game all the time.
Dude, he's way ahead of the game.
Yep.
Like, I went from Andy Frisella. That led me to Arate. Like, you want to talk about full circle, Pat? You led me to the MFCEO project, which led me to Arate.
Ed Milet,
Take action.
look him up.
Ed Milet. We haven't even talked about that
Ed
guy.
Milet.
We could go on.
Oh,
about
my
it.
Lord.
I love
you talk
that
about
man.
like the heart.
He's got a
that
heart.
dude crushes. He's awesome.
Yep.
But they formed Arate. Through Arate, Ryan Stewman was one of the first Arate founding members of the syndicate. So when I joined that program, I saw him, on my screen one day talking to me. That's what it felt like. And when you find that person for you, just roll with it, man. That's what I did. So if Pat never would have, I swear to God, if Pat never would have said, first of all, if I never went to CrossFit,
There you go.
right? I never would have met Pat. Pat never would have said follow this shit, and I never would have done it, and he would never done some of the stuff that he's doing.
Right.
Same with all of you, So that's the full circle.
Awesome.
Staying uncomfortable, putting yourself out there, and just taking action. That's what I tell. Someone asked me that not too long ago. Like, what would you tell the 18-year-old James? And I said, I tell the 18-year-old Jimmy, because that's what everybody knew me as.
Jimmy?
Yeah.
Little Jimmy.
Jimmy
That's right, Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
for real.
Yeah, like you guys know Jimmy Garoppolo? No.
I don't
No?
know who that is. No.
Come on, man. San Francisco 49ers?
Nope.
They're in the NFC.
We're
Shit,
not
dude.
football
They're
guys.
hockey,
It's all
lacrosse
good.
guys.
It's all good.
But I don't watch that either.
We used to be hockey. And
Let me
lacrosse
tell you
guys.
two things, guys.
You
Just
tell
because
me a
I'm
mountain biker, I'll know him.
I don't know any.
It's funny because they don't take 3 hours to watch football. We watch Ohio State.
Okay.
That's it.
I don't watch
Like,
NFL. I don't watch any
rarely.
pro sports.
Well, it's just funny because like I'm 41 years old and I'm watching some of this shit and you see things. So like LeBron James is what? King James. That's one of my fucking nicknames. I've had that nickname
He
since I
stole
was
that shit.
16 years old.
Stole it.
I'm not LeBron James. I get it, guys. I'm not trying to tell you that, but that's one of my nicknames. Jimmy G. Jimmy Garoppolo, that's what they call him. He's the quarterback of the 49ers. Like, that's been my nickname since I was 10 years old.
Dude, you are JG3. That's
But
it.
JG3, that's mine.
I would have never
I'm gonna
known
steal
that.
that one.
JG3.
King James, this is a funny one. This is why I'll say it. So I was in, I keep this fucking podcast going all night. I apologize. But
We got big micro SD
yes,
cards.
Yeah,
that's
we
all that
still
matters.
we still have 23 hours left on it.
I can probably do it.
Jamie,
probably do
you
it.
stay in the night.
Let's see.
James, I'm saying tonight. No, but the King James thing is I'm the third, so I'm James Golden the third. You know, you guys know my dad just recently passed away.
Yeah.
That's something that's kind of near and dear to me right now. It's tough, but he was JG2 because I was JG3. I gave him the JG2 nickname. It's pretty cool. But King James, man, I was the third, and when I moved I grew up in the Reynoldsburg area to Licking County, as a freshman in high school. Huge culture shock, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm out there going to a graduating class of 550 to a graduating class of 100.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
that
love
was culture shock, man.
for the people that aren't local. For all the people, we live in Licking
County.
Licking County.
Licking County proud, baby. Yep. Right? So, so the funny thing is I moved out here. I'm talking to people, man, and there's this dude named Ryan Hart. I'm going to say his name because he's not on any social media shit. He's off the grid. He's like a former Marine, one of them guys. Right? He'll never see this stuff. But I met him in high school when I moved, and he saw my name, like James Golden III. He picked up on that one day, and he called me King James. I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? He's like, shit, you're the third, man. That sounds like a king or something. Yep. Like King Henry VIII. And I just rolled with it to the point where I shit you all not. Fast forward to adulthood. I'm in my late 20s. I am his parents. Now, this is a whole other topic. I will not get into it. I promise you. I'll save you all right now. But one reason I got into entrepreneurship is because of his dad. Straight up story. But I was in Isla Morada in the Keys because his family owns a home and a resort, one of many things he owns. And his mom set up the bed and everything for me because I was staying the night. I came down there to visit. She put a fucking Andes Mint on my pillow with a note that says, for King James.
Aw.
Like,
Nice.
you can't make that stuff up, man. It was great stuff.
That's cool.
So that's it, man. We'll do some more. We'll have some fun.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thanks for the bourbon, guys.
Yeah.
This was
Oh,
epic.
you know what?
See you on the next episode.
Not a
Media
sponsor
Mafia.
yet, but
New riff right here.
New riff.
This is a
Pretty
good one. 100
good.
proof.
it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
JG3 approved.
JG3 approved.
I've got about 32 in my cabinet right now. I'm going to start my own bar at
And I
some point.
cannot believe I actually picked one.
You did it. You nailed
Well,
it.
I did have help from the guy at Giant Eagle.
That's my guy, too.
It is?
That's my guy.
I mean, he
knows it
stood there
all.
and talked to me for like 10 minutes.
So next time you say, what does JG3
I
not
should've.
have?
There you go.
I was 100% sure that you're.
No, I didn't have it. You guys nailed it.
Boom.
Because, like,
That's what we do.
you know where my office is?
Yeah.
It's right by
Oh, yeah.
by the liquor store. Maybe
Yeah.
I have a problem. I don't know. But we'll deal with that later.
All right.
All right, Jay, or
Till the next one.
Blake, close us out.
Till the next one.
Yeah, till the next one, I guess.
Next
Like,
one.
comment,
Next
subscribe.
Yep.
Let us know. Hook us up. Friend
Yeah.
us.
If you have
Connect
any
with us.
questions,
Follow the Media Mafia. Like,
Media Mafia.
these fools created that shit. That's pretty epic in my opinion. I love it.
I'm
we're doing.
surprised it wasn't taken.
yeah.
The family.
For the fans.
So ask questions,
Familia.
connect with us, and we're here to help.
All right. See ya.
Boom.
Peace.